Welcome back for episode 25 of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. I'm Taylor Phillips. I'm continuing on with more Lions talk after episode 24. In episode 24 earlier tonight, I talked a lot of Tigers, including their 8-4 win over the Pirates. I talked about Joe Nathan's chin flips towards the fans on the first base side and third base side just seconds after the game ended. I also talked about Victor Martinez trying to tell the fans to hang in there, and Justin Verlander being eager to return after his shoulder soreness. And then I started talking Lions and the value of Ndamukong Suh, and now I continue where I left off, talking more Lions, especially on Nick Fairley's weight that was the reason he was demoted. Kyle Meinke from MLive.com writes, from Allen Park, Nick Fairley's demotion to the second-team defense continued Tuesday when the Detroit Lions took the field for a late-night practice. Veteran C.J. Mosley took Fairley's usual spot alongside defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh. Fairley was coupled with Andre Flulin on the second team. It's unclear how long the demotion will continue or whether it will last into Friday's preseason game against the Oakland Raiders. Multiple team sources have indicated to MLive.com that Fairley's weight could be contributing to his diminished practice role. Head coach Jim Caldwell, sidestepped a question from MLive.com earlier in the week when asked about whether he was comfortable with Fairley's weight. When pressed on the issue, he said, "You can take it as you like, however you like," unquote. Fairley's size has been a constant sore spot with the team, so much so Detroit opted not to pick up his option for 2015 with the hope that would motivate Fairley to show up in shape. The move seemed to work initially, with Fairley dropping almost 30 pounds by the start of minicamp, but then he left for the 6-week summer break and put 10 pounds right back on. Ouch. So if you do the math, he lost 20 pounds, but getting some of the 30 back is just a waste. Now, it appears Fairley, who has not spoken to reporters this week, has continued to pack on the pounds. So it could be more than 10 after he lost 30. That's not good at all. Mosley repped in his place Monday and Tuesday and has looked exceptional at times, particularly Tuesday night. Sometimes it looks as though the 31-year-old has found the foundation, the fountain of youth. Josh Peterson says hello. Mosley quoted, "I'm ready to crack some heads. I'm ready." Mosley spent the offseason in Atlanta working with Tom Bender, who is Calvin Johnson's trainer. He also rededicated himself to eating cleaner and sleeping longer. Mosley also quoted, "The D-line just kept getting younger and younger, and all of a sudden, I got to be the old guy. But at the same time, I don't feel old at all. I feel great, very spirited, and kind of living throughout the younger guys. That's how I stay fresh. It's just passion. I was in those guys' shoes when I was younger, didn't know what to expect in the NFL and on Sundays. And thinking about that still charges me. That revs my engine," unquote. Mosley's leadership skills are well known throughout the organization. He became one of the most respected voices on the defensive line in 2013, even though it was his first year with the team. He continues to take that mentorship role seriously, including with Fairley. Mosley said about Fairley, quote, "He's a bright guy. He's cool. He kind of just adventures off sometimes, but I do that as well. He's a great teammate, a great guy. I just don't know what's going on with the situation, but I encourage him as much as I can," unquote. All I can say is Nick Fairley better lose some of his pounds in order to re-earn that 2015 option. And I just received an article from Freep Lions on Twitter, reading that that wide receiver Brandon Pettigrew and Nick Fairley both make Sports Illustrated's All-Overrated team. Don't know what that's about. I'm going to check on that right now. The ticker segment, the ticker section reads from Steve Schrader of the Detroit Free Press. Okay, NFL expert Doug Farrar has his overall teams out on SI.com. So the natural question is, how many Lions are on it? Just two, actually. Brandon Pettigrew on offense and Nick Fairley on defense. Related is time running out on Nick Fairley. And there's a video linked in this article. There's a link to a video on this article in the related section. Pettigrew has been one of the NFL's least efficient tight ends, Farrar writes, and now just Joseph Fourier and rookie Eric Ebron leave him in more of a blocking role. He better block well to meet the four-year, $18 million contract the Lions gave him in March. As for Fairley, Farrar doesn't seem ready to give up on him just yet, despite his recent weight issues. Farrar quoted, "This is a potential breakout year for Fairley, but he's got to want it all the way through. If that happens, he's in line for a monster contract somewhere." A couple on the two bullet points. The CBS Sports Network is putting together a sports talk show featuring an all-female cast. Cast regulars are expected to include two Michigan grads, Dana Jacobson and Tracy Wolfson. Second bullet point, Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy are appearing together on Monday on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Those are just bullet points that are unrelated to this Brandon Pettigrew, Nick Fairley, SI All-Overrated team stuff. So you can forget all that. Time to talk some Red Wings hockey. Defenseman Danny deKeyser feels confident he'll sign before training camp in Traverse City and looks to build on a solid rookie season. Ansar Khan, a Red Wings writer on MLive.com, writes, "It is good to be a defenseman in the NHL these days. Players at that position are at a premium, and the good ones usually are able to cash in with lucrative long-term contracts. That's not necessarily the case with restricted free agents," Danny deKeyser noted. They don't have much leverage, so they typically can't command what a comparable unrestricted free agent can get. I watch all the deKeyser quoted, "I watch all the contract signings, but it's hard to compare unrestricted free agents with restricted free agents," unquote. He added, quote, "I think with a lot of restricted free agents, it takes a bit longer to sign than with unrestricted guys just because there's not much room for RFAs, restricted free agents, to go anywhere. Just seems like it's a longer process." Still, deKeyser, unquote. Still, deKeyser, a 24-year-old restricted free agent, is confident he will sign with the Detroit Red Wings before training camp opens on September 19th. Actually, it said 18th, but it's the 19th. I'm going to check that out on centerice.org. On centerice.org. CENTRE-ice.org. He said he's very confident, and while he took part in the Red Wings' annual youth camp at Joe Louis Arena Wednesday, his agents continued trying to hammer out a new deal with general manager Ken Holland. deKeyser quoted, "My agents are doing a pretty good job in talking with Kenny, just kind of going back and forth, and we'll see what happens," unquote. deKeyser is coming off his entry-level contract in which he had $925,000 of a salary cap figure. The Red Wings hope the native of Macomb, Michigan will be a cornerstone on their blue line for many years and would like to lock him up to a long-term deal. A shorter-term bridge deal is another option. deKeyser added, quote, "It would be nice to figure something out long-term, but we'll just have to see where everybody's at," deKeyser's unquote. After joining the Red Wings in March of 2013 from Western Michigan, deKeyser had a solid rookie season in 2013-2014. That was last season. He scored 4 goals and picked up 23 points overall. That's 19 assists, along with a +10 rating in 65 games. He missed 15 games with a sprained shoulder the first half of the season. He was paired mostly with Kyle Quincy the second half of the season. deKeyser was second to Nicholas Kronwall in average ice time, 21 minutes and 38 seconds, and played in all situations, including the power play. He said of his goals, quote, "Just overall round my game out a little more and be more consistent game in and game out. Just take another step, improve on my numbers from last year, and help the team out more than I did last year," unquote. deKeyser recognizes the importance of gaining weight on muscle to his 6'3", 190-pound frame. He quoted, "Every season I try to get as strong as I can. You always lose a few pounds during the year. That's something everyone deals with. I've been skating lately, and I feel really good. Feel strong out there," unquote. End of article. So I'm very confident that deKeyser will sign with the Wings. It'll be just the same old team, even if whether they re-sign Daniel Alfredsson or not. They'll still make the playoffs, but they still won't go very far once again. And afterwards, it's time for Ken Holland to go. The Detroit Pistons have finally released their 2014-2015 season. You can just check them out on Pistons.com. Their season opener will begin on Wednesday, October 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern when they take on the Nuggets at Pepsi Center. Their home opener will it is at the Palace on November 1st on Saturday against the Brooklyn Nets. Let's see here. Pistons play the Cavaliers for the first time this season on Tuesday, January 27th at the Palace at 7:30. When LeBron James makes his return as a Cavalier to Detroit. That'll be an interesting matchup this season between the Pistons and the Cavaliers with the return of LeBron James plus Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. I think the Cavaliers traded Andrew Wiggins to Minnesota for Kevin Love. Pistons play the Pacers for the first time this season. Their former teammate Rodney Stuckey as well on the day after Christmas, December 26th on Friday at 7:30 at the Palace of Auburn Hills. I think Stuckey will. Sorry, I had to yawn. I think Stuckey will get a mixed reaction of cheers and boos all together in his welcome back to Detroit. Their first meeting with the Charlotte Hornets is Tuesday, February 10th in Charlotte at 7 flat. At 7 flat. Then they play the Hornets at the Palace on March 8th on Sunday at 6. Then they wrap up their season Wednesday, April 15th in New York against the New York Knicks at 8. They play on my birthday on Monday, April 13th in Cleveland against LeBron and the Cavs at 7. That's going to be it. I'll post the schedule right now. I'm going to post it on Twitter right now. Now I'm going to post it on Facebook. By the way, the Pistons have a new flagship radio station in Detroit. That is the new Detroit Sports 105.1 WMGC FM HD1 in Detroit. But it'll be the same commentators, Mark Champion and Rick Mahorn. But Dave Chapman will be the new Pistons broadcast host on 105.1. But Pistons.com will be the website you can find their schedule on. Okay, I think I've talked enough Pistons. Now to the last article: Michigan Wolverines men's basketball guard Caris LeVert able to play again after surgery from thescore.com. Thomas J. Russo writes from Ann Arbor, Michigan, via the Associated Press. Michigan guard Caris LeVert is back playing again after surgery for a stress fracture in his foot. LeVert's operation was back in May. Coach John Beilein says LeVert started playing last week, but he's not quite himself yet. It's just a question of how quickly he can get back in game shape. LeVert was one of the nation's most improved players as a sophomore, and the Big Ten champions may depend on him even more next season. Michigan lost Nick Stauskas and Glenn Robinson III and Mitch McGary early to the NBA in the NBA draft. LeVert averaged 12.9 points and shot 41% from three-point range last season. I think I could look up the Michigan men's basketball roster on mgoblue.com. That was my vagus nerves inside my head. I apologize for that. Caris LeVert. He's a junior, 6'7", 200 pounds flat, number 23 from Pickerington, Ohio, Central High School. The Wolverines will still have Spike Albrecht, Derek Walton Jr., and Zach Irvin, and Aubrey Dawkins on their squad. DJ Wilson, Cameron Chapman, are a couple freshmen. Muhammad Ali, Abdur Rahman. I've heard the guy Muhammad Ali before, but a guy with the same name? Wow. Aubrey Dawkins, Austin Hatch, Ricky Doyle, and Mark Donnell are freshmen, and Max Bielfeldt is a senior. The only senior on the team for the 2014-2015 Michigan Wolverines men's basketball roster. Andrew Dockich is a sophomore. Sean Lonergan is also a sophomore. Zach Irvin and Derek Walton Jr. are sophomores. Spike Albrecht is a junior, and Caris LeVert is a junior. I've run out the entire roster, so that's it for Michigan men's basketball. Michigan men's basketball, and that's it for Taylor's Detroit Sports Episode 5 on Spreaker. So tune in next time tomorrow for episode 26 of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. It'll be at night, like usual. Tigers and Pirates at 1:05 today. Max Scherzer will take on former arch rival counterfoe and former Minnesota Twin left-handed starting pitcher Francisco Liriano. You can look up his stats right now. By the way, looking at the Pistons radio affiliates, all I can see is information about the new Detroit Sports Radio affiliate, Detroit Sports 105.1. I don't see the other radio affiliates all around the state of Michigan. See you later. TTFN, ta-ta for now.